ya Friday. What's up, everybody? Friday morning. Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Hope everybody had a phenomenal day yesterday. Veterans Day. Thanks for all of you that have served. We greatly appreciate it. There is nothing more than serving for the honor of serving for your country, and we appreciate those that do. So let's go ahead and get started with our look at the markets today. We are up about 9 points in the S&P, about 46 points in the NASDAQ after a little bit of a sell-off. And we talked about the fact that there was some weakness on Wednesday's session. This was our level on Wednesday we talked about for a potential short area on this area. We didn't quite get a lot of basing here to give us a really strong entry. Wednesday, we didn't get a lot of great basing, but we did get a decent short opportunity in here. It did break down, continue to fall throughout that day, and then rallied back up, and old support act as new resistance, and we're getting a little bit of a sell-off again from it right now. Now, we are up a little bit off of the close from yesterday, but I will say that I think that we could still get a breakdown below here and wrap the week up on a little bit of a low note. And that is a rather distinct possibility. We did have a nice little sell-off off this 15-minute level that we had spoken about. So for those of you that grabbed that 15-minute level off that pivot, nice little run down from there. So I'm going to remove that level at this point. And our next area, we're pinching a little bit this morning. A little bit of a triangle pattern is being formed. And those are some of my favorite patterns. So for those of you that join us with a bit of regularity, you know that we do look for this setup. Now, we could see that we break above here and prices continue to trade higher, but just keep in mind that we could get a little reversal off of this area. Next, looking at the NASDAQ. So in our NASDAQ, we had a good little level up in here that unfortunately didn't give us a great entry. Because we just nicked the area. The level itself was pretty strong, but it was not a great entry, not a great zone. Looking at this also, we have that same kind of triangle pattern that's forming in this pinching area right now. And I wouldn't be surprised to see us break out of here and get a little run this morning. Now, this one, I think if you're going to go bullish, I think the NASDAQ is a much better opportunity to go bullish this morning on the breakout somewhere above 16,093, because I think you've got room to run up to 16.2. And we're already up about 40 points, but that is only 0.25% of a move. Looking at crude oil. So crude oil would be our next major market we take a look at here regularly. We looked up here for a potential breakout. We did not come anywhere near there. Matter of fact, we sold off. And if I look at this on a 4-hour chart, we will see that our 4-hour trend is the technical definition for this trend is icky. It's an icky trend. There's not a whole lot here for us to lean on. And so as I look into this, I see that we've got this area here that we're bouncing off this 15-minute level here shortly. We're coming into this region, and that's a pretty good little area. So if you get this in the next few minutes, I think you may get a little bounce off of here, especially for a 2-to-1. Reward to risk out of this level. If we come back up, I really like this little noisy cricket wick over wick area right here. You have a nice wick over wick zone in an area that was a prior level of support. So a prior level of support, a little bit of a fair price value, 80.68 by 80.82. That would give us a nice little bounce up off of this demand area and a good opportunity to get short off this region right here. Also formed at a pretty good time of day, and it's a drop-based drop below a pivot, which is one of my favorite setups. So keep an eye on that one for today. And then gold. Gold really ratcheted up the last few days, coming into a previously established supply area that we have over here to the left. Since we've traded into that, and we traded all the way through it, and then we hit it a second time, I'm going to remove it at this point, that we don't want to try that level again. Matter of fact, it sets up for a potential breakout above this region if we get some basing in front of it. But for what I'll look at right now, what I'm going to do is identify the origin of this big move as a potential long. Oops, I guess I should move to the 1-hour chart. The origin of that big move as a potential long with a potential breakout above 1869. Now, looking at, put a little bit more time on my chart here. looking at the supply level above that current price. Give myself more time on my charts. So our next supply level would be this area up in here where we have this drop, a little bit of base, nice drop. So we don't have a huge room to run on this breakout, but provided that our basing is close enough, I mean, if you can pull a few points out of it for an intraday trading opportunity, I think that's where you could get a little run up into here for a breakout long. As far as shorts go, we're selling off from the London Open and have continued to sell off. You could theoretically look into this if you want to try to trade the downside. Let me see if we've got any good levels in here. See, I like this area up here, but this wick challenged it. This long wick here challenged this area. And so the only real shorting opportunity would be off of this pivot right here, since every other one has been retested by long wicks that follow that zone. Now remember, wicks tell us a very important story, and the story that a wick tells is where price has been. And so when I get long wicks like this that retest prior areas, I know that that's a level that's already been touched. So I may not want to go back in there and try that again. All right. So those are our 4 markets for today. If you guys have any questions, as always, send us an email, support@tradersarmy.com. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great and safe weekend. And until Monday, see ya.
Hey, thanks for joining us. If you like what we do, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's the only way the computers know that you're actually live and really care. And go to tradersarmy.com today to learn a bit more. And if you want to see some of our other videos, click here in the box.